Well, let's see if we can do justice to this astrological dance that we have for this week ahead. I'll go immediately to our chart and take a look and see. Here it is. It's Monday, and I'm finally sitting down to do this consideration. Right off the bat, there is one aspect this week which I'm going to talk about, which is this Mars and Sun conjunction that is forming in opposition to Uranus. That doesn't actually take place till this next weekend, but we will get there. Right off the bat, we have two trines that are in play. Venus in trine to Pluto, Mercury in trine to Neptune. Trines are an aspect that the attempt is to bring some kind of blending of the energies in play. And if we look here at Venus and Pluto, we might say Venus relationship, Pluto, the possibility of some kind of a end in the process of transforming something to something else. And so it's Venus and Virgo, so the relationship would have to be a meaningful relationship. And so the trine, since the trine is an aspect that, really represents harmony more than anything else, we might portray this as an amicable separation in a relationship for whatever reasons, but it's likely that there are factors in play that would be better facilitated if two people's versions of what it means to be in harmony were not so tightly, glued to one another. We'll put it that way. Mercury, how we think and how we communicate, up here in Scorpio in trine to Neptune down here in Pisces. Well, first of all, Mercury in Scorpio. This is a version of language that likely is not easily portrayed between different factions or different people because the intensity of what it is that is on the field of subject matter may not be the easiest to find commonality of grounding in, generally speaking. And this in trine with Neptune, unlimited creative imagination in Pisces, the deepest and most profound region of the zodiac. We might be able to foresee this as, the potential for creativity in the fabrication of language that, from a water perspective, really is attempting to find some level of intuitive interface whereby what it is that the intensity and curiosity of really delving into the mysteries of life, that's Scorpio, is being enhanced from the Neptunian perspective to say, yes, continue in that direction. I will give you as much depth as you are willing to handle in this unfolding, mysterious conversation that is transpiring. Welcome to Monday. Tuesday brings a different set of circumstances. You can kind of see Venus right here at 29 degrees of Virgo. It's getting ready to move back home into Libra, a sign that has a very strong affinity and rulership within. Matter of fact, I'm just going to bump this ahead. And there we go. Look at that. Mercury has entered its home sign of Libra. You might almost get a sensing of the field of interaction that we entertain with one another suddenly received some tailwind. You know, there's a Venusian artistic side to what it is that we came together to create, to, seek a level of harmony and balance with one another that is now in the mix. And this coming on the tails of that Venus-Pluto trine that just happened. Perhaps there may be some lingering considerations on what was it that was transpiring most recently between me and somebody else or something else that really gave me the inklings of needing space. Anyway, it's now Wednesday, a mercurial day, and Venus has entered Libra. A different set of circumstances. And Thursday, well, I should say very early on Thursday morning, closer to midnight than to sunrise, the moon is going to be up there dancing with Venus. Can you feel the moon? Can you sense essences of the harmonic energy of Venus? And if you happen to live in a place where you do have clear skies and you're restless at night, you can't sleep, and it's midnight or so, and you decide, I'm going to get up and take a glance at the stars, see what's going on up there in the heavens. And there they are, the moon and Venus, very close together, just out of curiosity. See what their declinations are. Let's see, the moon is at 0 and Venus is at 0. They're going to be very, very close together up there in the heavens. Should be a marvelous sight. I do not know that we here in the Northwest are going to be able to see it because we've entered the winter weather cycle. That changeability where more moisture is going to fall from the sky than at any other time of the year. However, that Venus lunar dance, that see it or not in the heavens, is bringing us the opportunity to really sense that interactive zone of influence that we carry with one another is in play. Don't want to miss anything there, which is likely to do. There's so many factors always astrologically going on. Friday. We have some shifts going on. Venus, just went into Libra. Well, Mercury has just gone into Sagittarius, and as such, it also forms a nice strong square over here to Saturn in Pisces. from the Sagittarian perspective, Mercury's arrival there, it can represent a couple of different kinds of energy. First of all, it's Sagittarius. The inclination, if you will, to seek insight into factors that may not easily be contained within the context of what is considered acceptable, or this is what you are going to be allowed to understand. Because Sagittarius is really it's an adventure. It's more like the rocket ship taking off into outer space, going where no man has gone before. That unlimited quest for something else. So our curiosity, Mercury, it has that, certain kind of adventure that is calling to it. At the same time, Mercury in Sagittarius, across from Gemini, one of the signs that it has rulership with, says that yes, you may have this capacity or curiosity that really has no limits, yet I think the Saturn square it right now, it would be advisable to rein in the level of curiosity that, is like a restless horse, animal, dog of some kind. Just you can feel its feet tramping up and down, ready to just go for something else like that. And Saturn's over there saying, "Well, hold on your horses there, sonny. Have you thought of everything that might be coming up because of that?" Well, the two signs, Sagittarius and Pisces, that we're talking about here, they have a very strong affinity because they're both ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter's essence is, what else is there? And so we have this kind of a dichotomy between Saturn, which says, I'm trying to contain things within this certain set of functions. And Jupiter is saying, try if you will, but I know there is more. There's always more. And so these two energies are, kind of in a kibitz with one another, saying, well, because Saturn is in one of the signs of Jupiter, I think that Jupiter has a little bit more sway in what it is that we might generally consider the restrictive nature of Saturn. Pisces, the realm of unlimited spiritual questing depth. How close can you come to what you interpret as source? This is the realm of Pisces. Saturn, is it going to be able to curtail in any fashion that desire or quest to actually know or encounter, engage with, and communicate with what source might be? Mercury, remember, up here in square to this Saturn, might portray factors that I'm going to give you a version of opposition that you may not have generally contemplated. The flowering, that's an opposition. We want a square. Conflict for growth. Things come together. Whoops. I have to get on the right page here. Create structures to contain the potential of both planets. I think that's probably a good way to look at that square. What kind of language might at the same time represent the unlimited frontier, Sagittarius, and the Saturnian quest for a version of Source? That's an essay question, something for you to ponder as to how you want to play these energies in your own particular life dance. Okay, now the fun aspect. And I use that tongue in cheek because these Sun and Mars have been essentially in a conjunction since last week. Sun moving just a wee bit faster than Mars, so it's catching up to it, the Sun. What is the regal quality of this particular conjunction? Authority. There's another solar term that works here. In the realm of Scorpio, dancing with Mars, the warrior. I don't know if you can easily see these energies working harmoniously together, but it's possible. However, the outcomes of what it is that happens when you get authority inspired by the warlord in the realm of death, rebirth, process. This is not what I would put into the category of the most comfortable kind of energy to be tuning into, and to make sure that we are being as inclusive as possible. These two planets are moving into opposition with Uranus down here in Taurus. You can see Mars is within a degree of it. The Sun is within 3 degrees of there. And so, if we consider just from the perspective of ownership, that Taurus-Scorpio axis, the collective level of ownership, Scorpio, there's a certain angst in the air because of, what shall we call it, warring factions at work, attempting to, do or put one over on someone else. And this can happen at any level. I was thinking just earlier this morning how when in any situation, say you're driving your car and you're going someplace, and in this kind of energy, Sun and Mars and Scorpio, there's a certain tension in the air that you are more than likely the creator of, and you're trying to get somewhere. That's there's that drive, that Martian energy in Scorpio's list. It's intense. And, you get behind a driver that's just not really going the speed limit, which, these days the speed limit is, 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit. And here's someone that's playing it safe and going a couple miles under the speed limit, and you're behind him and there's cars on both sides and you can't go around, and what are your options? You could almost sense or feel the kind of angst that could build up in you if you were to play suddenly, Uranus in the picture, that, if I could just blow that car out of the way and then take off and go, And here's what I was thinking about that very scenario is that saying about pluck a flower and disturb a distant star. Do you really understand the connective energy that exists between you and others, other things, other people, other instances that is at work all the time? This is a shamanic perspective. We are connected to everything all the time. So paying attention to how we might play this Mars, Sun dance here in the sign of Pluto. Some of us, absolutely willing to destroy, kill, or do damage to something that is in our way. But do you know the ramifications of that? Not so much that actual physically creating that demise to another being, but more along the lines of personally. What is it in myself that I am harming by, carrying this level of, that kind of thought process? While suddenly is a good term to apply to Uranus, the reason why Uranus, shakes and rattles things up, sometimes quite suddenly, is because it is attempting to awaken you, perhaps to an alternative choice in any situation that can indeed be an awakening. Do I really need to destroy something in my way in order to accomplish something that I am about? Might there be an alternative path that is attempting to get my attention? And from a Scorpio perspective, the availability of really, really living into the mysterious side of life it's kind of like always percolating or often around the edges. But do you have the willingness to invite that in? Might you find deeper places within yourself if you had the willingness to do that kind of work and investigation? This is an interesting aspect. This is probably the most important one of the week, because it will be played based on our version of what it means to be an incarnate being here on planet Earth. And that is a function, my friends, that is often inspired by what it is that we have allowed ourselves to tune into in this life dance we are about. Those of us who see opportunity in everything must stand strong when we find ourselves in these kinds of situations to act clearly as an example for others to see there are alternatives. How sincerely is getting someplace in the hurry you think you are in worth the repercussions that you might create or cause in the rest of your world? In each moment, we birth things. This is a painting I did, I don't even know, maybe 10 years ago. I called it my Whale Dream series. I did a bunch of them. But here is a birthing process taking place. I decided I was going to paint some nebula, some celestial nebula. And when I got the celestial nebula on there, I said, one of my spirit animal helpers is whale. Whales need to actually be in this scenario. There is a magic that puts in an appearance in the shamanic dance. This is one of those magic moments that appeared to me and then appeared on the canvas. I'm going to leave you with that thought. What are you birthing in each moment? Do you have the deep wisdom of history and the ancestors that the whales carry? Or are you so hung up in your personal plight that you pay minimal attention to the repercussions of what happens as you pick that flower? That's all I have for this week. See you next week. Ciao.